Well, this morning, we're turning our attention to Ondo State. You may have seen that news on Tuesday, but it's still building up. And that man that was spoken about, Honorable Iroju Ogundeji, joins us this morning on Sunrise Daily to give us the backstory, because, I mean, this is not the first time or the second time we've seen state assemblies with this back and forth. So what is different about this? What does the law say? What is perhaps wrong, and how do we move forward? Well, good morning, Honorable Ogundeji, and thank you for joining us on the
Good
program.
morning.
So, as it stands right now, have you been impeached or not?
I've not been impeached.
Why?
In the eyes of the law, the purported impeachment carried out by the 17 lawmakers in Ondo State is a kangaroo impeachment. So, in the eyes of the law, according to Section 92, subsection 1, 2, A, B, and C of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1999, nothing has happened.
You know, I will be surprised, really, if you had said you have been impeached. I mean, that would be a new twist. But so it is said that 20 lawmakers sat and agreed to impeach you. And now it appears as though you have some other lawmakers on your side. 9 or 8? How many lawmakers are on your side?
9.
9 of them.
Yeah.
So you say that it wasn't 20 lawmakers that agreed to impeach you.
Yeah.
How come?
Thank you. On the wake of the purported impeachment of the deputy governor of the state, sometimes around July this year, 9 lawmakers dissociated ourselves from the impeachment. And we have a total number of 26 lawmakers in Ondo State. And when you take 9 out of 26, you have 17. And the law says, according to Section 188, subsection 1 to 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, in line with the impeachment of any governor or deputy governor of any state in Nigeria, there must be 2/3 majority of the total number of members that make up that House of Assembly. And when you take 9 out of 26, you have 17. And 2/3 majority of 26 is 18. So automatically, it means that 17 cannot make any impeachment. So whatever impeachment that have been purportedly to have been made by 17 out of 26, when the law says 18, it means nothing has happened, no impeachment. That the one I attended was on the 8th July this year. So the one I heard that they purportedly claimed that I've been impeached was the one that happened about 3 days ago. I wasn't there. You will recall.
Any reason for that?
Yes, you will recall that on the wake of the purported impeachment of the deputy governor, sometimes in July this year, precisely July 8th, the speaker, on the directive of the governor of the state, according to what he told me, suspended 4 of us, myself inclusive, as a result of our refusal to sign the impeachment of the deputy governor. And since then, we have been prevented from attending any legislative proceedings or any legislative assignment.
How are you prevented?
On the wake of this...
How are you prevented from attending?
Thank you. On the wake of this, as a law-abiding citizen of the state, much as I know that the speaker or any member do not have any power or authority to so suspend any member that are duly elected by the people, we decided not to take law into our hands. I mean, those of us that were purportedly suspended. Then, we approached a court of competent jurisdiction in Ondo State, and the court gave us judgment. The court said they lack the power to so suspend us. And the court reinstated us back to our legislative duties in the House and directed that all our allowances and salaries that have been withheld on the wake of that purported impeachment be paid to us. They even, the court, on his own wisdom, awarded us cost of 5 million naira for that illegal and unconstitutional suspension.
Before you continue, Honorable, is this fracas or this crisis in the House, if one can call it that, Is it just about the deputy governor, or is there any other thing? What's responsible for all of this? What started it?
Thank you. It's in the public domain. It's in the public domain. Kaude, no any other thing responsible for it other than the impeachment of the deputy governor. The House of Assembly has been in peace. There have been no any crisis before July this year. It was at the wake of the impeachment of the deputy governor that the governor tried to do that brought the crisis at the House of Assembly. And there couldn't have been any crisis if the 26 of us had agreed to that impeachment. But by the time they brought the impeachment and the allegation leveled against the deputy governor, Honorable Agbola Ajayi, 9 of us, in line with our conscience, we decided that the allegations leveled against this man are not genuine. They are just phantom allegations. And in order to honor the dictate of our conscience, we decided not to participate in the impeachment. And we wrote officially to the clerk of the House, to the Speaker of the House, and even to the Chief Judge of Ondo State, who is empowered by the Constitution to set up an investigative panel to probe, after which the House of Assembly must have sent a letter of impeachment to him or her. So it was as a result of that, our refusal to sign that impeachment of the deputy governor, that brought out all this crisis.
Now, since that has come on, what then is the allegation against you for your own impeachment, or purported impeachment? As
the allegation against myself and the remaining 3 of us legislators that were purportedly suspended is that they said gross misconduct. What constitutes gross misconduct, we don't know. But the Speaker called me and my 3 other colleagues to his office and informed us the day he announced the purported suspension that the governor and the chairman of our party has directed him to suspend us from participating in the affairs of the House.
Well, this, as my colleague said in the opening, this is not the first time we are hearing of suspension of members of the House and suspension of one person or impeachment of a speaker and all of that. You have asked a question that I want to ask you now. What constitutes gross misconduct when an impeachment process is initiated?
Well, it is those people that allege that we have to prove. To us, we don't know what constitutes gross misconduct.
But you know it is in the law. What does the law mean? From your own interpretation, you're quoting the same law now to say this and these are the things that the law says. But it is in the law that for any impeachment of certain officers to sail through, the person has to be guilty of gross misconduct. So from your own understanding, what could constitute gross misconduct?
For now, I'm not a judge. And I'm not the drafter of that constitution. And the constitution did not specify what constitutes gross misconduct. But the people that alleges gross misconduct, they were the ones that know what constitutes gross misconduct. To me, maybe refusal to sign impeachment notice of a deputy governor has constituted gross misconduct to them. Because that is the only thing that happened. No any other thing.
So now that the panel, I'm sure you're aware that the panel has been constituted to investigate, you, in the case of alleged misconduct, gross misconduct, would you be waiting for the outcome of that panel to maybe clear your name or otherwise?
Thank you. You don't approbate and at the same time reprobate. What do I mean? The purported impeachment that they meted on me about a few days ago, like I told you, in the eyes of the law, cannot stand. Because the due process of the law has not been followed. Section 92, subsection 1, 2, A, B, and C is quite clear about the impeachment or the election of any principal officer of the House of Assembly in Nigeria. Not only that, the rules that guides the operational conduct of Ondo State House of Assembly, I have it here, Section 9, subsection 1 to subsection 8, has not been followed. You don't constitute a panel when to investigate somebody when you have impeached that person. That was what I mean, that you don't approbate and reprobate. A panel has to be set up to investigate the person you want to impeach and hear from him before you impeach him.
So would you be appearing before this panel?
Since I was not called upon, don't forget, they purportedly suspended me. The court reinstated me. They feel uncomfortable. They approached an appellate court. The appellate court upheld the decision of the lower court that I should be reinstated. They disobeyed that court order. Not only once, not only twice. And during that period, I was prevented from attending any legislative proceedings or activities. And during that period, they said they suspended, they impeached me. Could it stand? You know, this regulation, my dear brother, was made by the House. This is the House Rules and Standing Order. Section 9, subsection 1 to subsection 10 is here. I can read it out to you. You only, when you want to impeach any principal officers of the House, according to this rule, this is an addendum because it's a subsidiary legislation to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's the section that I've quoted. And you don't make a law and break that law that you have made. And more especially, don't forget, House of Assembly members, we are elected lawmakers. How could an elected lawmaker now become an elected lawbreakers? The law you made, and you are breaking it. Now, they said they purportedly impeached me. After the impeachment, they now set up a panel. This is the votes and proceedings of the meetings of that day where they purportedly carried out that illegal and unconstitutional suspension, that impeachment that they said they meted on me. If you read this votes and proceedings, that impeachment has been carried out. It was after the impeachment that had been carried out, illegal election and unconstitutional election of new person to replace that position was made before the speaker now set up an ad hoc committee to investigate. Do you do that? Do you approbate and reprobate at the same time? You don't put something on nothing, my dear brother.
But
if you put something on nothing, it won't stand.
The leadership of the House vehemently said 20 lawmakers impeached you.
Now, I've cleared that one. We have 26 lawmakers in the State House Assembly, duly elected. And the law says, before any governor, deputy governor, speaker, or deputy speaker of the House of Assembly could be impeached, you must make up two-thirds majority. And as the case may be in Ondo State, the two-thirds of 26 members is 18. And I told you, 9 members dissociated themselves from the impeachment of the deputy governor. That same 9 members are with me the day they said they purportedly carried out my own impeachment.
So what does the proceeding say about the number of lawmakers?
Wait, let me quickly come up. This is the letter jointly signed, written and signed by the 9 lawmakers, dissociating themselves from my own impeachment. This is the letter. This is the signature of all the 9, except one that is overseas now as I speak with you, among us. This is our signature. So it was these 9 members dissociated themselves from my own impeachment.
Right.
How did they get that 20? Automatically, it means that people's member signatures have been forged. And I've challenged them to publish the names of all the 20 lawmakers that have signed against me so that we know who among them that have committed perjury.
Honorable Ogudeji, so let's get this clear. Now, you have proceedings from that day, if I'm correct.
Yes, this is the proceeding.
So what does it say about the number of lawmakers that agreed to impeach you?
They purportedly claim in these votes and proceedings that 20 lawmakers signed the impeachment.
So what you have with you says 20?
They wrote, this is meaning, in fact, votes and proceeding of that day's meeting.
So it has 20
They wrote
lawmakers.
20.
Okay.
But after this 20, 9 said, after this 20, they have 17 with them already. Then you add 3 to make 20. 3 among the 20 now said they were not there and they didn't participate, and there was no time.
Are there signatures?
In this, no signature.
But their names are there.
Names are there.
So which of the lawmakers do you say were not part of this and their names were put there?
The 9.
I thought you said the 3.
No.
You said they have 17.
They have 17 with them.
And they brought 3 from
They purportedly brought 3 according to them.
So who are those
from
three?
the 9? We don't know those 3 now.
But you said there are names of lawmakers there.
No. They said no names. They said they wrote 20. They said they have 20.
So there are no names and numbers.
Which I've challenged them to now put out the 20 names and their signatures, which they have not done.
You know, okay, let's expand this conversation because we always need to get the other side of this. So we have joining us also Honorable Olugbenga Omonle, who's the Chairman, House Committee on Information, Youth and Sports Development, Ondo House of Assembly. He's joining us via Zoom this morning. Well, thank you for joining us on the program. I believe you've been following the conversation. Honorable Ogundeji here says what happened on Tuesday was unconstitutional. He says it wasn't 20 lawmakers, but 17 lawmakers, and by the Constitution, that does not stand. How do you respond?
Thank you very much. Good morning. My pleasure to be here. I've been following the conversation, and I want to say categorically here that the suspended deputy speaker, the impeached deputy speaker is being economical with the truth. He doesn't have facts of what he's saying. Yeah, the impeachment of a governor, deputy governor, speaker, deputy speaker is enshrined in the Constitution in section 92(2), and it is explicitly stated that 2/3 majority of the House. You see, talk is cheap, but I will just go to the nitty-gritty of it. We had a parliamentary resolution on the 9th of November, and 20 members of the House Assembly were present, and we had a lot of deliberation, and one out of about 10 or 12 parliamentary resolutions was arrived at, and one of it was the impeachment of this, the former Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Ogundeji Roju. 20 members attended, and they appended their signature. The former majority leader that was earlier on, that was making some allusion, was not at that parliamentary meeting, so he couldn't be talking about what he doesn't know. You see, and unfortunately, a lot of people who are in the House Assembly, they are not there for legislative business. They don't know the reason why they are there, and they don't know their onions. Let me give you a quick example. On the following day, which is the 25th of November, part of these 9 people that signed, that disassociated themselves from the impeachment of the deputy speaker, seconded the motion of the rules of the proceedings of the previous day. That means they accepted what we did. It's on tape. So, talk is cheap. People will just start saying things, putting things on social media. He said he's challenging us to bring this. Who is it that we have to give it? Let whoever that feels his fundamental human right is infringed upon, let him approach the court. At the appropriate time, this document will come out. So he doesn't have the right to ask us to bring to him the signatories of that impeachment. He doesn't have that right.
So is that the constitutional provision, having this parliamentary resolution?
And let me quickly say this.
Let me land on that question, Honorable Omale, just a moment. So is that the constitutional provision for impeaching a deputy speaker of the State Assembly, the process you just reeled out?
Yes.
Go on.
I can't, okay. You ask him a question. He's a ranking officer. This is the second time in the House. You ask him what constitutes or what means, how do I put it now? That you ask him what is definition of misconduct, or what does he know about? He has presided over impeachment and suspension of honorable members before. So he's now hiding and telling us that he doesn't know what that means. He said the honors is on us to prove. At the appropriate time, we will prove. Ask him, he has presided over a purported impeachment of a Speaker of the House. And at that time, he knew what misconduct is, but now he doesn't know what misconduct means.
Well, what he also said, well, you have to take the question that my colleague asked you later, but quick one on what he just said. What he also said is that there is no details in the Constitution or any law of what the gross misconduct means, but that anyone who alleges gross misconduct has to define what it means. Maybe at that time he had a definition for it. Just a moment, Honorable. So in your own from your own perspective, being part of the process of the gross misconduct allegations that led to his impeachment, purported as he says, what are the consequences of that gross misconduct for which he has been impeached?
One, by bringing the leadership and the House into dispute, by misleading the public. Most times they come to the gates of the House Assembly to shoot a Nollywood movie, claiming that they are shut out of the House. As I speak with you now, the judgment they got in court have not been transmitted to us. We can't rely on news on social media. The House Assembly is a constituted body backed by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we have our proceedings of doing things. You understand? We cannot rely on news, on social media news. So until we see this judgment and we take it from there, there's a process. Nobody, they are voted to represent the constituency in the Ondo State. We will not stop them from performing their duty. If legally what they got, we saw it, and we take action. As at that point, we don't obey the court order that they can now do what all these things they are doing. But the fact remains, as I speak with you now, today is 27th November 2020. I don't know in the next 4 or 5 hours, as I'm speaking with you, as he consulted with the leadership of the House before coming on air this morning, we are yet to receive the judgment they got from court.
Okay, I mean, without conceding, I need you to help me through this, because I earlier on asked if, this process followed the constitutional provision. So the rules include giving a notice in writing to the clerk of the House stating the reasons with proof for the removal of the officer. The notice must be signed by not less than 2/3 of all members of the House. And the notice shall be given to the affected officer not less than 72 hours to respond in writing to the allegations. Was that done?
Yes.
So you wrote to him to respond to the allegations. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, the rules go on to say, now, did you respond to those allegations, by the way?
He never responded.
Okay. Now, a member shall move, well, the rule says that you are meant to circulate the response, which you said he did not give. Now, a member shall move a motion which shall be seconded for the investigation of the allegation. Was that done?
Exactly.
Who did that? Was it done by the panel you just set up or another panel?
It was done at the plenary. It's not the panel that will do that. It's not the panel, like you just read. When that motion was moved, Mr. Clark was given a copy of the resolution and the names of members and their signatory. Mr. Clark confirmed before the next step was taken. That was exactly what happened at plenary on Tuesday, 25th of November, 2020.
So why did you now set up the committee, the panel? What is the essence of that panel now, if you had done investigations?
Yes, that's to give him, he's suspended. This thing is as I'm talking to you now, he is suspended. I don't want to talk much about the court cases because the cases.
No, this is not about the court cases. This is about the procedure that took place in the assembly.
But the individual we are talking about now, has not made himself available. You understand? So what we have done is legal, and that's the procedure. We have our standing rule. We depend on the Constitution of Nigeria. We supersede any standing rule or code of conduct. And exactly like quoted to you, Section 92(2) of Nigerian Constitution stipulates and explicitly explained the process and procedure to impeach the deputy speaker. And we have exactly done that. We have followed that. We have not done anything that is legal. We challenge anybody that said we have done anything that is legal.
Okay, Honorable Omole, I'm still on that investigation part. If you said that he was investigated right there, how long did that investigation take? Because I don't believe that your proceedings last for more than a day.
I told you that parliamentary meeting where that resolution was taken was on the 9th of November. 9th of November to 25th of November. You know how many days? We are not desperate to impeach or to suspend anybody. It doesn't add any value to any of us. It doesn't.
Pardon me, just before we go on break, let me just clear this. Pardon me. When was the panel set up?
I can't say exactly now. But you mean which panel? Which panel?
The panel to investigate.
This panel was set up. Yeah, the panel was set up on that 25th of November.
Okay.
But
so investigation.
A letter has been written to him. A letter has been written to him prior to that.
Okay. You know what, Honorable Omale, we need to go to the break now. But when we come back, we'll take a look at these issues closely and get the response of Honorable Ogudeji right here in the studio also. Gentlemen, please stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we're still taking a look at what went down in Ondo State House of Assembly. Different sides to this, really, and we've been speaking with the two sides, if I could use that term, the purportedly impeached Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ogundeji, and Honorable Omole, who, well, he says that things were done according to the laws. But let's come back to Lagos and speak with Honorable Ogundeji. Now, he has reeled out some of the processes. He said that, well, on one hand, there was a parliamentary resolution. There was a meeting on the 9th of November where the 20 members were present. 20 members. So maybe that takes into account 3 members who support you. He says they were present at that meeting on the 9th of November and they all agreed, in fact, said they put pen to paper, agreed to impeach you. To that extent, do you still say it was unconstitutional?
Thank you. Like I said earlier, out of the 9 members that dissociated ourselves, they wrote a letter, and I showed you the letter is still here. They said there was no time since the beginning of this crisis in July, no time any meeting was called to discuss the impeachment of the deputy speaker. And if there's any meeting of such, they should come up with the resolution of that meeting. That is why. And they have been able to come up to write this letter and append their signature, deny that there was no time. If you permit me, but because of time, there is no time. I could have read this letter. That there was no time any meeting of such was held where the decision to impeach the deputy speaker was taken.
But he has also said, just to quickly follow up on that, he also said that, look, the people who you say didn't sign, they signed. That for them to come out now and be saying that they didn't sign and be denying that they signed that letter, it just reveals the kind of persons that they are.
Thank you. I'm a legislator. I'm a two-timer. I know the rules and regulations that guys more especially the impeachment of the principal officers. You don't sit down at the parliamentary to do any impeachment. It's against the law. We have what we call parliamentary meeting, and we have what we call plenary. The plenary is the open gallery where the legislators, the meetings of the House is carried out. Don't forget, he said something. He said when the Constitution conflicts with any subsidiary legislation, that Constitution will take precedence. According to the Constitution, assuming without considering that he is now denouncing the rules and regulations made by the House. I'm quoting from his statement. Assuming is discountenancing this rule, let's take Constitution of the Federal Republic, which is the grand norm of our law in this country. That section 92 says you can only impeach the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker not by vote, but by votes. Votes, when you say votes, not that we have agreed to No, you have to come to the plenary and cast your vote. That is what is in the Constitution. Because according to his statement, he has discountenanced this rule made by the House. However, this rule, the Section 9, subsection 10, says, for the removal of the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker to be effectively carried out, the entire member of the House will be present at the chamber for that purpose. This is the rule made by the House. Did the entire member present in the House on that day? Don't forget, the 4 of us have been suspended since 8th of July. We went to court, in fact, we took judgment, both at the lower court and at the appellate court. See, as I speak with you here, they prevented us disobeying court order from attending any parliamentary meeting. Where did they now get their 26?
You also heard him say that they don't have a copy of that judgment yet.
Thank you. For him to have said they don't have a copy of that judgment is showcasing his ignorance. And ignorance is not tenable in our law.
Have you been has that been submitted to the
Sure.
clerk of the House?
They are with the copies of the judgment. And don't forget, let me quickly add, for the
Who
purpose,
are they that are with the copy of the judgment?
the Speaker is with the copy of the judgment.
How can you validate that?
Thank you. They signed for the receipt of that judgment. Not only that, the Attorney General, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice that was removed by the governor about a few days ago, was their lawyer in the court. And he's a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's an officer in the Temple of Justice. He was their lawyer. So how come we now say that they don't have the copy of the judgment when their lawyer is the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice? Not only that, after the judgment was read out and delivered on 28th of August. 28th of August till now. You can count how many months. Our lawyer, Barrister Ayenake, wrote officially to them. They duly signed for it since August. The judgment they are claiming that they have not got.
Okay. Now,
Not only that, when it was on the 18th of this month, the appellate court upheld the judgment of the lower court and further order that they should abide with the judgment of the lower court. The Solicitor General of Ondo State and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, was their lawyer. He was in court. He was further directed by the court that he should advise his client.
in effect, you are saying that, one, the rules that saw to your, what you call your purported impeachment, he says is valid impeachment. You are saying that the process is fraught.
Very, with fraud. Okay. He claimed that they wrote me before they carried out the purported impeachment. My dear brother, Ayo, somebody that has been illegally suspended since July, somebody that who have prevented from attending legislative proceedings since July this year to date, somebody that the court ruled in his favor and you refuse to obey that court judgment, you now say you served him with a letter.
So you did not receive a letter?
I did not receive any allegation, no letter.
And consequently, you did not respond to any letter?
I cannot respond to any letter when I did not receive any letter.
Honorable Omole, just a moment. Honorable Omole, you've heard his response to some of the issues. Oh, but I understand that he's not, right there right now. It would be good to have his own. Yes, Honorable Omole, you heard him say, that he did not receive any letter from you, contrary to the claims that you made the other time, and consequently, there was no letter for him to respond to.
Well, that is on allegation. You who allege must prove. Then again, let me quickly say this. The impeachment.
You served him that letter. If we can just very quickly clear that.
Of course.
How was he served?
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not the one that sent the letter. The leadership of the House. I'm aware because I consult with the leader. I'm not a principal officer, but I consulted with the Speaker and the leadership of the House, and I was told he was served. He said something now that I just wanted to. He said
the principal officers of the House also tell you, from what he is saying, that they duly signed for a copy of the judgment that you said that you do not have?
That's exactly what I wanted to say now. He said, please, can you permit me to say this? misleading the public and misrepresenting facts. The judgment is saying we got was that of the lower court, and we never denied that we didn't get that, and we have appealed that. We are talking of the stay of execution they got from appeal court. That's what we are saying now. If it says, is it August they got the stay of execution they got from appeal court? Ask him, is it August? We are in November. You see, you know, his talk is cheap, and the public will be, are listening to us, and they will know sooner or later who is telling the truth. If you say we got a judgment since August, and we are claiming you haven't gotten a judgment, he's talking about the lower court. We got that, of course, and we appealed. But where is the stay of execution of the appeal court? That's what we are talking about. That is the crux of the matter. The House of Assembly is a body properly considered by the Constitution of Nigeria. We will not do anything that is illegal. We will not run foul of the Constitution. We obey court orders if we are properly served.
Okay. Well, as we wind down on this conversation, Honorable Ogundeji, you said that you were against the planned impeachment of the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, and you say this is what's perhaps responsible for what's playing out now in the State Assembly.
Yes, that is what.
So that would also imply that you and the governor, if you stood against the impeachment of the Deputy Governor, means that you and the Governor of Ondo State are not on good terms.
Thank you. We cannot be on a good term as far as this issue of impeachment is concerned. You want me to do illegality? You want me to do something that is against my wish and conscience? You want me to do something that is against that will tarnish my integrity? And I said, no. I'm a man of my word, and I have my integrity to protect. And I said, no, I cannot join multitude to do evil. And because of that, I said, no, I'm not signing. We only disagree on the issue of signing impeachment. That is the only area where we disagree.
Oh, clearly this has spiraled into something much bigger.
And that was what must have amended my suspension.
So you're saying that the governor is responsible for this?
Can the legislature, let me tell you, in Nigeria, can any member of the House of Assembly come up and say they want to impeach the deputy governor without the governor instigating them?
No, your own planned impeachment, that's what I'm talking about. Are you saying that the governor is responsible for yours also?
My dear brother, the handwriting is very clear. Very, very clear. The handwriting is very, very clear. What masterminded, what responsible for all this crisis is the purported impeachment of the deputy governor.
Okay.
Like I told you.
Honorable Omole, pardon me, let's get his closing thoughts. So Honorable Ogundeji says that, well, clearly he believes that the governor is responsible for this. Have you been in consultation with the governor regarding this process, and what do you have to say to that?
I want to say clearly, and I want the world to know this. Ondo State House Assembly is an independent arm of government. We are in charge of our actions. We have a leadership that we believe in, and we do our things the legal way. He is just making allegations that they cannot. You see him dancing around the question when you ask him, he couldn't answer straight. So he's alleging, and he's just straight to the question you asked. Ondo State House Assembly is independent. The governor has, at no point in time, and I want you to believe it, has never at any point in time.
All right, very quickly, so that we can wrap this all up, Honorable Omole. What would, in your opinion, be the best solution to resolve this crisis?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's no problem that doesn't have a solution. Solution. We are a member of the same party. We are a member of the same House of Assembly. And when you do something that is wrong, if you show remorse and you are ready, let me quickly say this. The panel that was set up after his impeachment was to give him
very quickly, Honorable Omole, just a moment, very quickly, so that we don't, dilly-dally around this. What exactly are you saying here? What's the way out? Is it the resolution of the panel that will solve the problem, or are you looking at a political solution? Very quickly.
Well, I will not hold forth for the House Assembly, but as the spokesman of the House Assembly, like I said, there's no problem that where the political solution could be in the offing if they are ready.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Ogundeji. For you, what will solve this problem? Because, as you know, this whole thing is denying certain constituencies of their rightful, representation in Ondo State. What is the way out of this impasse for you?
Thank you. Like I told you earlier, the way out is for the lawmakers to obey the law. When there's a conflict between two arms of government, the other arms of government, which is the judiciary, in fact, their own function is to interpret the law. And we've been to the judiciary, they've interpreted the law, and they've made a decision. But they refuse now to obey that law. And not until when they obey the law.
All right.
Well, so, in view of this, there is no problem at all. They should go and abide and obey the law of the land. Not only that, let me quickly add this. He said something. He said he heard from the leadership of the House that is of not the no. And hearsay is not tenable in law. That automatically is coming on here to misinform the entire world that he's only in the House of Assembly, he doesn't know what is going on in the House.
Well, Honorable
So it's unfortunate that this kind of a man is representing the entire Ondo State House of Assembly, an arm of government, and is being a spokesperson of the House who does not know what is happening in the House.
We have to wind down on that note, but we'd like to thank you so much, and we do hope for a resolution. Honorable Iroju Ogundeji, as well as Honorable Olugbenga Omole, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your thoughts on the program. Well, we'll go to break right now, and when we return, we'll turn our attention to another topic. Don't go away.